Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the 2009 Lincoln pennies. These 5 coins show different parts of Abraham Lincoln's life. Some are just 1 cent, but others can be worth more because of rare errors or special versions. Let's check them out together. The first coin in the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial penny series is called the Birth and Early Childhood in Kentucky penny. This coin was released by the United States Mint to honor the early years of Abraham Lincoln's life. It shows a small log cabin on the back of the coin. This cabin represents the place where Lincoln was born in 1809, in the state of Kentucky. Lincoln came from a very simple and poor background. He lived with his family in a tiny one-room log cabin. There was no fancy furniture, no modern equipment, just the basics needed to survive. This cabin tells us a story about how Lincoln started life with very little but grew up to become one of the greatest presidents in American history. That's why this design is so meaningful. It reminds us that anyone, no matter how poor they start out, can go on to do great things. This penny was made in large numbers, so it's not very rare in its regular form. The most common version of this coin was struck at the Denver Mint and has a small D mint mark on the front, just below the year 2009. Coins like this were made for regular use and were sent out into circulation. Money bag. Now let's talk about value. If you have this penny in your pocket change or it's been used and has scratches or wear, it's usually only worth 1 cent, just like a normal penny. But there are a few versions of this coin that can be worth more, especially if they are in excellent condition or were made with special finishes. One example is the uncirculated version. This means the coin was never used and is still in great shape, just like it came from the mint. These coins are called mint state, MS, coins, and they are graded on a scale from 60 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. An uncirculated, birth and early childhood in Kentucky, penny in mint state 65 or higher can be worth around 50 cents to $1 depending on the market and the coin's condition. There are also special collector versions of this coin made with a satin finish. These were not put into regular circulation. Instead, they were sold in sets by the U.S. Mint directly to collectors. These satin finish coins are made of 95% copper, unlike the regular pennies which are made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. These satin finish coins can be worth $3 to $10 or even more, depending on their grade and how much a collector is willing to pay. If you happen to find one of these coins in great shape or see one in a collector set, take a closer look. It might be worth more than you think. Check for any mint marks, such as a D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, and look at the condition. Clean, shiny, and scratch-free coins usually have more value. The second coin in the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial penny series is called the Formative Years in Indiana penny. This coin shows a young Abraham Lincoln sitting on a log while reading a book. Next to him is a tool used for splitting wood, called a wedge or an axe. This picture shows how Lincoln spent much of his time as a boy. He worked hard during the day splitting logs and doing chores, and in his free time, he would read and teach himself by studying books. Lincoln grew up in Indiana from 1816 to 1830, and during those years, he learned a lot on his own without going to a big school. This part of Lincoln's life is very important because it shows how determined he was to learn and improve himself, even though life was not easy. His strong will to study and his love of reading helped shape him into the great leader he later became. This penny was made to honor that part of his life. It's one of 4 special designs that were created in 2009 to celebrate the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Each design shows a different stage of his life. The Formative Years penny was made in large numbers, and many of them were released into everyday circulation. If you've ever looked closely at your change, you might have seen one of these coins. It was made at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. If the coin was made in Philadelphia, it will not have a mint mark. If it was made in Denver, you will see a small D below the year 2009 on the front of the coin. Most of these coins that have been used and passed around in circulation are only worth 1 cent. That means they are only worth what they say. However, coins that were never used and are still in brand new condition can be worth more. These coins are called uncirculated coins. If you have a formative years penny in uncirculated condition, it could be worth around 50 cents to $1. If it has been graded as mint state 65 or higher, it could sell for $3 to $5 or more. There are also special versions of this coin made for collectors. These are called satin finish coins. They are made with better detail and from 95% copper, unlike regular coins, which are mostly zinc. Satin finish coins were sold in collector sets and can be worth between $8 and $15 if they are in excellent condition. One of the most exciting things about this coin is the error known as the extra finger. On some of these coins, it looks like Lincoln has an extra finger on his hand. This happened because of a double die error when the coin was made. These error coins are rare and valuable. If you find one, it could be worth $25 to $50, sometimes even more if the coin is in perfect shape. Let's talk about one of the most interesting pennies in American coin history, the 1964 D. Lincoln Memorial Cent. This coin was made at the Denver Mint, which is why it has a small letter, D, under the date on the front of the coin, right below the year 1964. That little D tells us where the coin was made. Now, here's something that might surprise you. In 1964, the Denver Mint made over 3.7 billion of these pennies. That's a massive amount. So you might be thinking, how can a coin that's so common be worth a lot of money? That's a great question. Even though billions of these pennies were made, only a very small number are worth big money. Why? It all comes down to a few important things: condition, rarity, and minting errors. First, let's talk about condition. When a coin is first made, it looks shiny and new. If a penny has been well taken care of and never used much, it might still look brand new today. These coins are called mint state coins. They haven't been scratched or worn down from use. Mint state coins are given a grade on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin that's close to perfect is graded MS 67 or even higher. Now, a 1964 D penny that is graded MS 67 red, which means it still has its original red shine and looks almost perfect, can be worth up to $7,900 to a coin collector. That's a huge amount for a single penny. But there's more. Some 1964 D pennies are worth even more because of minting errors. These are mistakes that happened at the mint when the coins were being made. Believe it or not, these mistakes can make a coin more valuable, not less. One example is a double strike or off-metal error. This happens when a penny gets struck over an older coin or on the wrong type of metal. These kinds of rare errors are extremely hard to find, but when they show up, collectors are willing to pay big bucks. In fact, some of these super rare error pennies from 1964 have sold for over $100,000. There are also smaller errors that still make a coin more valuable. For example, a coin might be missing some letters, have doubled images or words, or be slightly off-center. These aren't worth as much as the big error coins, but some can still sell for hundreds or even a few $1,000s. Now, most 1964 D pennies are not going to be worth much. If they're old, dirty, or scratched up, they might only be worth 1 cent. But if you find one that's in excellent condition, or better yet, one with a rare error, you could be holding something really special. Collectors love coins that are not just old, but also unique. That's why some of these 1964 D pennies have become so valuable. They're not just regular coins, they're coins with a story. So if you're going through your spare change or old coin jars, take a second look at any 1964 D pennies you find. You never know, you might have a small treasure in your hands. The third coin in the 2009 Lincoln Penny series is called the Professional Life in Illinois Penny. This design shows Abraham Lincoln standing in front of the Illinois State Capitol building. He is dressed in a suit and holding a rolled-up piece of paper, which represents the speeches and laws he worked on. This image shows the time in Lincoln's life when he was a lawyer and a public speaker in Springfield, Illinois. Between the years 1830 and 1861, Lincoln worked hard to build his career. He started as a store clerk, then became a lawyer, and later served in the Illinois State Legislature and the U.S. House of Representatives. During this time, he became known for his honesty, leadership, and powerful speaking skills. People began to respect him and listen to what he had to say about fairness and freedom. His years in Illinois helped prepare him for the job of president. That's why this coin is so special. It reminds us of the important steps Lincoln took on his way to becoming one of America's most important leaders. This penny was made as part of a series to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday. Each coin shows a different part of his life story. The professional life penny was made in large numbers and sent out into everyday circulation, so many people have seen or used this coin without realizing its story. Just like the other coins in the series, this one was made at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. If it was made in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark on the coin. If it was made in Denver, you will see a small D under the year 2009 on the front side. If your coin has been used and shows signs of wear, it is considered a circulated coin and is usually worth only 1 cent. However, if your coin has never been used and still looks brand new, it is called an uncirculated coin and can be worth more money. A nice uncirculated, professional life penny can be worth about 50 cents to $1. If the coin is graded as mint state 65 or higher, collectors may pay $3 to $5 or more for it. There are also special versions of this coin that were made for collectors. These are satin finish coins, which have better details and were made of 95% copper. These special coins were not put into circulation and came from collector sets. Satin finish coins in great condition can be worth between $8 and $15. Some error coins of this design also exist, although they are not as well known as others. Errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks can sometimes appear and make the coin more valuable. If you find a coin with something unusual in the design, it's a good idea to have it looked at by a coin expert or submit it to a grading company. Even a small error can turn a regular penny into a valuable collector's item. The last coin in the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Penny series is called the Presidency in Washington, D.C. penny. This coin honors Abraham Lincoln's time as President of the United States from 1861 to 1865. The design shows the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C. still under construction, just as it was during Lincoln's presidency. The half-finished dome of the Capitol reminds us that the country was going through a very difficult time. The Civil War had started, and the nation was divided. Even with all the struggles, Lincoln stayed strong and worked hard to keep the country together. He is best known for leading the United States through the Civil War and for freeing the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation. This coin marks the final and most important part of Lincoln's life, as he served the country as its 16th president. Sadly, his presidency ended when he was assassinated in 1865, just after the war ended. Even though his life was cut short, his leadership and legacy are remembered by millions of people around the world. The Presidency penny was released as the fourth and final design in the 2009 Lincoln Penny series, which celebrated the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Just like the other coins, it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, with a D mint mark under the year 2009. These coins were made in very large numbers and were released into everyday circulation, so it's common to find them in your pocket change. Most of these coins that have been used are worth only 1 cent, which is their face value. However, if you find an uncirculated Presidency penny, meaning one that was never used and is still in perfect condition, it can be worth more. In mint state, MS, condition, the coin can sell for around 50 cents to $1. If the coin has been graded MS 65 or higher by a professional coin grading company, it can be worth $3 to $5 or even more. There are also special collector versions of this coin with a satin finish and made of 95% copper. These coins were only sold in mint sets and were not released for public use. Satin finish versions in excellent condition can sell for $8 to $15 depending on the grade and the interest of collectors. Some rare error coins have also been found from this design. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and die cracks. These types of mistakes can happen when the coin is being made, and they are very popular with coin collectors. If you find a Presidency penny that looks strange or different from a regular one, it's a good idea to have it checked by a coin expert. Even a small error can raise the value of the coin a lot. This makes the presidency penny not only a piece of history but also a possible hidden treasure. So there you have it, 5 amazing pennies from 2009, each one telling a special story from Abraham Lincoln's life. From his humble beginnings in a Kentucky log cabin to his hardworking youth in Indiana, then his successful professional life in Illinois, and finally his powerful time as president in Washington, D.C., these coins are more than just money. They are small pieces of history. While most of them are still worth just 1 cent, some uncirculated and special edition versions can be worth dollars, and rare error coins can go for even more. So next time you see a 2009 Lincoln penny, take a closer look, you might be holding something valuable. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check your pocket change. Who knows? You could have a rare coin sitting right at home. See you next time.